on in making sure that this Remain campaign had a chance of succeeding?
I think there are obviously a number of failings of the Remain campaign. I think it was too focused on economics and not enough on values, too focused on the sort of group of marginal voters that the sort of Conservative and Labour spins were that we used to target as sort of suburban middle class people, who they thought were the swing voters that we used to target. So I think part of it was that we were aiming at the wrong people. I think perhaps one of the most concerning things in the campaign is that if you look at the areas of turnout, actually turnout in Remain voting areas is significantly lower than the voting areas. So places like London, university towns, big cities like Liverpool and Manchester had lower turnouts often than sort of areas of the countryside that voters need. So I think that one thing we have to be targeting those areas to ensure we've got very, very high turnouts in sort of core areas of it. I also think that targeting young people is something we need to do much, much better. I have a poster at home from the 2016 Remain campaign that says Torin, without the G on it, chill in, vote in, which I think sums up quite how, on the background of someone looking sort of happy and surfing. And I think that sums up the sort of lack of comprehension of young people, in that it just feels so much like a sort of middle-aged marketing campaign transmitted with young people in a particularly important way. So, to return to my vague self-promotion, the fact we now have groups like Our Future and groups like Our Future for Our Future's sake, specifically targeting young people, will help to mobilise across campuses, across young people, not universities, and really help to drive up that turnout so we're hitting the right people next time.
But what would be the message?
What would be the message? I think the message would be the idea of protecting our futures. I think when we're talking to young people particularly, I think emphasising the positive aspects of Europe that was again something that was missed. Alongside economic risk, which is I still think something worth talking about. But I think talking about sort of protecting free movement, protecting young people's futures in Europe is definitely what we want to be saying to young people.
I agree with everything Dominic said. We have got to have a very strong and unambiguous pro-European message in the next referendum. You cannot argue to stay in an institution if you're lukewarm about whether the institution should exist in the first place. And that was the fundamental, well, when they say the fundamental, it was because there were others. It was a fundamental mistake of what was done 3 years ago. Europe Works needs to be at the heart of our campaign for the next referendum. And we need to make the argument about why it works. 70 years of peace. The only period in this, of a similar duration in the entire history of Europe where we haven't been fighting each other when there haven't been frontier wars. Not great prosperity in large parts of Europe, but nonetheless pretty sustained improvement in living standards over the course of 2 generations, which will be at risk. 45% of our trade, all of which is guaranteed and underpinned by the European Union, and another 15% of our trade, which is on treaties, of which the European Union is a party, including a massive enhancement of our EU's trade treaty with Japan, which is one of our biggest trading partners, that started on the 1st of February. We need to be absolutely unambiguous. And the other thing I strongly agree with Dominic on is we've got to have younger voters mobilising younger voters. We've got to have, for the first time in the modern history of this country, the young mobilising the young politically. And I think that should happen almost irrespective of party, perhaps within each of the parties, as well as between the parties, instead of which, as Dominic so rightly said, until now, campaigning amongst the young has been seen as a kind of adjunct to national campaigns. It needs to become a campaign in its own right. And it's part of the reason I'm so keen on votes for 16 and 17-year-olds. Actually, I think there should be 3 reforms. Votes for 16 and 17-year-olds, automatic registration of all young people, automatic in their place of study, and there should be a polling station in every place of study, every school sixth form, every hall of residence, every university and college. If that happens, I can tell you, the whole way that this referendum and election and subsequent elections before will change radically. Instead of the politicians just turning up at the homes to the elderly, which they do assiduously at the moment, I can assure you, because those are absolute rock-solid blocks of votes, and they all vote, a lot of them by proxy and so on. They will be in every school and every college across the country. They'll be doing the meetings, they'll be subjecting themselves to questioning, and if there's a ballot box, imagine there's a ballot box here in Worcester College, put it in the JCR. If it was here, then the turnout would be maybe 90-95% in a Euro referendum. And I can assure you, all of the national political people would be here in Oxford and in the schools and colleges across the country. So we need a huge cultural change in the way that we address this referendum and subsequent elections. And as ever, it's a combination of getting the rules changed, and it's votes for 16 and 17-year-olds, automatic registration, new polling arrangements, which will itself drive a big change in the way that the parties and the whole of the political culture of our country operate. And this needs to happen ASAP, because of course the people who are going to be trashed more than anyone by Brexit are the young, because they're going to have to live for a lot longer under this regime, which, as one student put it to me when I was at Cheney 2 weeks ago, said to me, Lord Adonis, I don't want to be shut up on a small island with Jacob Rees-Mogg, Boris Johnson. That's what's the prospect, unless we get this one right.
So I think that in terms of the message that we would send out in the second referendum Remain campaign, is that we need to take the positive feedback for our side. We need to be Project Hope this time. We need this message of let's put Britain back together, let's keep Northern Ireland, let's keep the fragile peace in Northern Ireland as safe as it has been since the Good Friday Agreement. And I think we need to say that it's the Leave campaign that has people who sound and look like Boris Johnson and Jacob Rees-Mogg, and they don't represent the country. We need to take back the message, or we need to take back control, I think, from the Leave campaign, and project this image that we want a Britain that changes, and it's actually the Leave campaign that wants a stagnant Britain that stays the way it has been. We need to reverse the images that there were in 2016. And I think in terms of how we actually get more Remain votes on the day, energising the young would be a very large part of that. So this is something I worked out, I think, in a computer in sixth form 2 years ago when I first saw the referendum results. So I make no claims about the accuracy of this, but I think something like if the turnout of 18 to 24-year-olds had been 75%, we would have had a Remain victory. That is a very high turnout for what we've had so far from that age group, but I think that if we energise that part of the electorate, if we really did get to 75%, and I think given that this is the largest issue in British politics since the Second World War, that wouldn't be difficult comparatively. I think that we would see a much more successful Remain campaign.